Brady, there's no way Brady's going to let you go eat Taco Bell. But then Belichick is going to drive you to Subway. So I don't think that. Okay, this is tough. You think you're getting in that?
So
you think you're getting in that drive-through line with Bill Belichick? He's not waiting in that. And we're live. Let's go. This is the Dos Padres podcast. I'm Major J. That's the Sundance Kid. We're here covering Boston sports and so much more. Sundance, we've got another packed show. I know you're going to be surprised to hear that, but yes, we have another jam-packed show this week for everybody. We have got tonight, today, whenever you're listening to this, we're actually going to be welcoming back Matt Cannata from Pro Football Network to talk about the Patriots heading into the season finale at Miami. That's going to be a good time. I'm sure he's going to have some choice words about the Dolphins in that segment. We're also going to have some fun with a new this or that segment that we're going to be trying out tonight. And we're also going to have an update on our not as terrible NFL picks, Sundance. We've both been trending up the last few weeks. That's exciting. And we're going to close it out with another 3 and out. But first and foremost, Sundance, what you sipping on?
Okay, so for this evening, with a pseudo snow day on the horizon for tomorrow,
yes.
we'll be working remote, so there's no driving into the office. So maybe get that extra half an hour of sleep in the morning. I am sipping on this lovely double IPA. It is OJ. This is courtesy of Lone Pine Brewing Company out of Portland, Maine. Picked it up at Trader Joe's a couple nights ago. I just looked at the can and said, wow, it looks like orange juice. It's not quite orange juice, but I have to tell you, it's definitely Juice Bomb-esque. It's a double IPA, and it's pretty fire. You are muted, and that is okay.
All right, try that again. Technical difficulties run amok. All right, so that looks delicious. Where is that from again?
It is from Lone Pine, is it? Lone Pine Brewing Company out of Portland, Maine.
Nice. All right, well, I am going to go ahead and take a sip of mine, and then...
Ooh. What's that?
It also is bomb-esque, juice bomb-esque. It's not, though. It's actually, again, from our friends over at Treehouse. This is the Julius. It's the lighter version. Now, the lighting is killing this, by the way, but it is the lighter version of their world-renowned Julius. Just a little bit lighter. Julius was an inevitability for hot summer days. Bunch of stuff. It's a pale ale. Nirvana, enjoy, whatever. Yeah, it's good stuff.
What's the content on that one? What's the content?
8,000. It is 5.2%.
Interesting.
I don't have IBUs on here, but yeah, no, it's a toned down version of their famous Julius. At some point, we are going to get over to Treehouse.
Yes, sir.
Maybe even do a little remote broadcast action, but maybe that'll get them back in our good graces for potential sponsorship. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna let's kick it off. Let's get right into things. We're gonna get right into our rundown. Talk about the the Boston teams a little bit. Just kind of give a little once over as far as how the last week has gone. We'll start off again. MLB, Sox. You know the deal. We're on lockout. Nothing's changed. One note though. R.I.P. Newton native Jim Corsi did pass away a couple days ago at the age of 60. He's a kind of a cult following in Boston.
Yeah.
Well renowned in the area in terms of outreach and the things he did in the community. I think he's going to be sorely missed. So R.I.P. Jim Corsi. That's too bad. But Beyond that, nothing on the Sox front. Bruins, 3-game winning streak. They're back. They're playing. They're up to 4th in the Atlantic, 8th in the East. Eastern Conference, 36 points. Bruce Cassidy has tweaked the top 2 lines, kind of breaking up the Pasternak, Marchand lines a little bit, try to get something going. It seems like it's worked. I don't know. The bigger news on that end, really, at the Bruins is that Tuukka Rask, potentially on his way back. He signed a professional tryout contract with Providence, potentially going to be starting them or with them, playing with them at least on Friday, tomorrow, assuming that doesn't get snowed out. But the rumor is that if things go well, he could be up within a couple weeks with the big club. Who knows what that means for that goalie rotation between him, Swayman, Allmark. Cassidy saying they could keep all 3. Swayman has an option, so he doesn't have to go through waivers if they want to send him back to Providence. Who knows? I doubt it. He's played well enough, or I doubt that happens. But who knows? You know what? If you can get Rask between the pipes a couple times a week, that's going to help this team tremendously, given how much their scoring just isn't there. They're going to have to win low-scoring games. But
how long's he been out of the game?
Tuukka he had surgery after the season. So okay. So he's just been out the first half of this year. But 34 years old. I think we had Dr. Gary on before talking about it. Love to have him back on as well now that we know Tuukka's coming back. So that's something we got to look into. But all indications are he's ready to roll. So that'd be kind of cool to have Tuukka back between the pipes. Beyond that, we got them right now down a goal with 1.5 minutes to go against Minnesota. This is Thursday night. Empty net. We'll see what happens. I am not watching the Celtics. Speaking of the Celtics.
Bruder just fumbled it away. We are down 2 with 30 seconds left to the Knicks. Nick Ball. They are going to hold for one more shot.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, that's fantastic because that's pretty much the way things have been. Again, their fourth quarter ridiculousness. This is a team that was up 15 in the third quarter, and yet again has found a way to just blow games in the fourth. What else is new? Celtics, we're not spending too much time on them as usual, but 18-20, blah, 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 500 team, 4th in the Atlantic, 10th in the East, so not even a playoff team right now, or they might be just good enough to get into that play-in situation. They showed signs of – Go ahead.
Quickly. Here's why this is crushing is probably too strong, but here's what's concerning about this is Jaylen Brown over the last week really kind of willed them, through a couple of games to wins. Yeah. One of them over the Phoenix Suns, a big one over Phoenix.
Big one.
And after their latest win, might have been over Orlando. Reporter asked Jaylen Brown about the game, and he said very, very, flippantly, but it stuck. He said, "Hey, just effing win. That's it. That's all I got, guys. I don't know what else to tell you, but we know what we have to do. Just effing win." Suddenly, this goes up on billboards in Boston. This gets posted outside
this becomes national news.
I mean, this is, and so does this become Cowboy Up, right? Does this become,
right? Yeah.
Does this become Do Your Job? Is this a rallying cry? And it really seemed like it was. And then they had that really tough loss. I mean, heartbreaking loss to the San Antonio Spurs yesterday. Where Spurs are not a very good team.
No, they're not. And that's their second loss to them this season already.
It's not a good loss, but they lost by 2. And Jaylen Brown stole the inbound pass. It was really just thrown to him, and he missed a layup for the win. But I like Jaylen Brown. He takes accountability.
Absolutely.
That's why this loss to the Knicks, if it goes that route, and they're down 3 with 18 seconds left and the ball, but if they lose this game. That all goes out the window. I mean, it's almost like a players-only meeting that just didn't do anything. And so you hope they can pull some magic out of their hat right here to kind of keep some of this energy going. Because I like Jaylen Brown and what he's about. Smart drives the lane, and he gets fouled going for 2. They're down 3, by the way.
Oh, okay. So that if you do the math, fantastic. Celtics, I'm done. Just blow it up. I'm just going to leave it at that. Blow it up. I'm all set. All right, that's pretty much the rundown with the rest of the teams. We're gonna get into the Pats in a second, but before we do, if you're watching us on YouTube, please smash the like button, subscribe, click the little bell, turn your notifications on so you don't miss a show. If you're listening on your favorite podcast provider, make sure to rate and review. If you do, and then you send us proof along with a self-addressed stamped envelope, we will actually mail you back a special surprise. That's where we're at. It might be a little decoder pin. It might be something else. You'll have to rate, review, send us a note, and find out. All right. That's going to bring us into our Pats preview, Patriots. Yep. So again, we're going to be welcoming Matt Cannata from Pro Football Network on momentarily, but let's go ahead and just recap and talk about last week's game against the Jags. Not too shabby. What do you think?
Hey, this was what? No. This was what needed to happen. What was the final on this one? 50-10?
50 to 10. Yeah. Not bad.
Something like that. They did allow like a late fourth quarter touchdown.
And for the record, I know I said in the last show that they should not score double-digit points. I'm okay with this one. I'm okay with this 10.
Yeah, you'll take those 10 points. Yeah. It was really a huge total team effort. Julius Randle missed the first free throw. Celtics are down 1, and we'll see what happens on the second one. Listen, it was huge. The Pats offense did exactly what we said, and so did the defense, right? I had a sense, I think everybody did. I'm no genius here. I think everybody had a sense that the offense would get right against Jacksonville. They did. You even had practice squad player Christian Wilkerson, wide receiver, step in for N'Keal Harry. And the guy catches 2 touchdown passes.
He did. He catched. And did Jason Tatum just hit this shot? You have got to be kidding me. I don't care if we're live recording this. Silky smooth. He shut that guy up in the white Oxford. That's what you get for
Madison
wearing Oxford to the front row of MSG.
Madison Square Garden brings out the best in everyone. So
Celtics tied.
Here we go.
1.5 seconds. All right, not bad. So that's interesting. So we can blow that in overtime while Matt's on the show. But yeah, no, it's.
But this has to go to overtime, and the Celtics have to get this win. So we'll see where this goes.
Have to. Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, with the Pats, clinch a playoff spot. Defense looked amazing, which you would expect against the Jags, but as expected, as they should. You DTN, you do the necessary. RIP Coach Kaya. And is Coach Kaya, has he passed away?
I wouldn't know.
This is
former Springfield Central varsity baseball coach.
This is going to be like
not certain.
What's his face from Christmas Vacation again? I'm not checking it this time, but yeah, no, they had to do the necessary. They did it with the defense, which was awesome. N'Keal Harry, a healthy scratch, as you mentioned. Christian Wilkerson had the 2 TDs. N'Keal Harry, a healthy scratch. Fantastic.
Hey, you know what? If Christian Wilkerson can now just learn how to block downfield, goodbye N'Keal Harry, because Christian Wilkerson
he gets a block bigger than.
Well, Christian Wilkerson.
I need you to turn around.
Christian Wilkerson can not only catch touchdown passes, but he may also be able to block downfield on certain plays. So
just as an update to cut you off, Celtics lose. The Knicks hit a 3-pointer with 1.5 seconds left to go in the game, so this game isn't even going to overtime.
That's terrible.
Okay.
This show was shaping up really good for the week. Fantastic. All right.
Pats looked really good. Big game this Sunday. I'm curious to see what type of performance they put out against the Dolphins. Yeah. They historically do not play well in Miami.
Down there. I mean, you'd assume would be fired up for this game, given the importance. I mean, they're not going to assume a Buffalo win over. We can assume a Buffalo win over the Jets. They will not assume a win by Buffalo over the Jets to take the division. So as far as they're concerned, the divisions is still in play.
Yeah.
They would need to win with Buffalo losing to the Jets. Crazy things have happened. I mean, the Jets, barring a Brady a Brady-esque win last week. The Jets actually had almost came close to taking down the Bucs. So, I mean, Buffalo has at times shown weakness in
They
gaps.
could lay an egg.
It could happen. So I think they're both playing at 1:00 on Sunday. I believe.
Patriots are not. The Patriots got flexed to 4:30.
They did get flexed to 4:30, so they'll know.
Yep.
They'll know playing that game whether it matters. Well, whether it matters for the division or not. It's still going to matter for seeding, I'm sure. But
actually, I think Buffalo may have gotten flexed too. I think the league did that on purpose.
You would think Buffalo would have flexed.
I think that they did flex Buffalo to the 4 o'clock.
I can't keep up with these schedule changes, and I should have looked, and I didn't. But
it is. Yeah, they are both playing at 4:30.
Oh. That's sexy. All right. It's great that the NFL decided on the last week of the season to put some really important games at the 4:00 window instead of shoving them all into the 1:00 and then giving you 3 games at 4.
Right.
This NFL scheduling drives me up a freaking wall, but whatever.
Sure.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and welcome back our special guest, Matt Cannata from Pro Football Network. Matt, what is up, man?
How you guys doing tonight? Today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Wrapping up the NFL season, regular season at least.
Yeah.
Finally here.
You guys have been busy, man. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
Yeah.
Things have been crazy with the site blowing up. Again, Matt Cannata, founder, CEO, ProFootballNetwork.com, also avid Miami Dolphins fan. Matt, if you want to reintroduce yourself to folks who maybe you didn't catch you the first time you were on the show.
Yeah, Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, co-founder, chief executive officer there. And like you said, huge Miami Dolphins fan. Been a fan since, I think 1995-ish, when I was 9 years old. 10 years old. When my cousin told me they were going to win the Super Bowl that year, and I've been a fan ever since. I saw a tweet the other day, and we posted it from the main PFN account, and it said something like, men actually pick their favorite team when they're 11 years old, and let them make them upset. Let that team upset them for the rest of their life. And it's like, you know what? That's so true.
I like that because I think that's about the time when I decided I really liked this Atlanta Falcons hat. I saw at the mall, and then I got it for Christmas, and then I just also became a Falcons fan. And then they turned around and lost to Washington in the wild card game. That's back in the Andre Rison, Deion Sanders days. And for some reason, I still root for them. But that's a whole nother story. We're not even get into that because that's embarrassing in its own right. But Matt, we got a big game coming up this weekend. We're curious your perspective
for the Patriots, at least.
Well, when we had reached out to set this up, it was brewing as this mini.
This could have been a candidate to be a Sunday night football game.
Oh, absolutely.
Had beaten the Titans, I think this would have been the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it would have been a playoff game basically for the Dolphins. Yeah. And maybe even the Patriots too, I think.
So what are you expecting? Let's leave it right there. What are you expecting out of Miami on Sunday? Obviously, the game doesn't technically mean anything for them. They've been eliminated, but geez, they had an impressive run there, Matt. I mean, come on, that was to go from 1-7 to 8-7 at one point, I think.
Yeah, they won 7 straight. And yeah, you're absolutely correct. It was an impressive run. At the same time, though, the opponents they played weren't at the top of, top echelon. But at the same time, it's hard to win in the NFL. Just look at the Chargers who lost to the Texans, right? Or look at the Lions who are beating good teams here and there. And so to win 7 straight, to win in the NFL is hard enough. To win 7 straight is even harder. So there is something to be said there. You can't just knock that off and say, oh, they didn't play great teams. It doesn't matter. Any given Sunday in the NFL, I know, we all know it. And so there's something to be said. But there's also something to be said about the fact that when you play a playoff team like the Titans, it maybe takes that to realize that you're not actually a playoff team yet. And I think we all saw that on Sunday when the Dolphins couldn't do anything against this team who is probably going to go deep into the playoffs, if not to the championship game or Super Bowl. So
getting Henry back, and I think the last time we had you on, was it even before that 7-game.
Oh yeah,
maybe the beginning of that 7-game streak. Is at the point. Like, I'm just curious. Like, so what's your looking broader? What's your outlook on the Dolphins now after the streak and kind of having a holistic view of the season compared to maybe how it was a couple months ago before that winning streak? In terms of like long term, what how do you feel about it? Like in terms of attitude towards, you're optimistic as far as long term.
I think there's still a lot of questions to be answered, and I think people may have been thinking about those questions and thinking they had the answers. And then you look at a team like the Titans and what they did to the Dolphins, right? And it's like, all right, is Tua really the answer anymore?
Right.
And there's a lot of chatter now. I mean, when I was on your show last time, I had mentioned that the Dolphins weren't really particularly happy with Tua, and they were looking to move on, right? And then during this winning streak, people started thinking, and even myself, it's like, well, can he be the guy? Is he the guy? And then it just totally falls apart against the Titans.
Right.
It's almost like the game where PFN was born, when Ryan Tannehill a few years ago against the Bengals, people thought that he could be the guy. They started off 3-0, and then that like one game just showed that from that point forward, everybody knew he was not the guy.
Right.
And I feel like the tides have really shifted after this Titans game, where a lot of people are turning now on Tua. I mean, the media down in Miami has completely turned on him, and there's a lot of fan base from the Dolphins that are turning on him as well. He still has that very core. They call it Tuanon in the Dolphins media market. The Tuanoners who will go do anything and say anything to defend the guy. He could do no wrong, right? They're like, there was a thread of tweets the other day from one of the leaders of Tuanon. He's like, well, if you get a top 5 running back, top 5 receiver core, top 5 offensive line, Tua will be good. Yeah, no kidding. He's going to be good.
So any of the three of us would be as well. So.
Exactly, right? And yeah, like all the beat reporters on Miami have basically turned on Tua and are saying, hey, he's probably not the guy. And there's still a ton of questions to be answered. And going into the offseason, and I'll give you guys this little tidbit. We haven't even broken this on PFN yet because we're still gathering.
I love the tidbits. Yes, give it to us.
We're still gathering details on the story, but we've confirmed with 2 independent sources that Chris Greer, the general manager, may not be safe. Brian Flores may not even be safe. If they are safe, you can look at the Dolphins bringing in a football czar, so like a vice president of football operations to oversee that crew there. Interesting. Make those final decisions. So that's kind of where that stands right now. Tons of questions to be answered after the offseason.
It's funny you mentioned that because that was going to be another question I was going to have for you. It's just, breaking away from Tua in the same regard, looking at Brian Flores. Do you feel like that 7-game streak may have helped his longevity? But apparently not. So maybe that was not enough.
It helps a little bit for sure. And especially when you have an owner like Stephen Ross who doesn't like to fire people. He would rather restructure. So it helps a little bit, but there's still so many questions on the offensive side of the ball. And Brian Flores goes through his offensive coaches like there's no tomorrow. So so much fluidity there.
Maybe he'll have another season just to maybe settle on one offensive coordinator and really lock that in.
They've had a new one pretty much every year he's been there.
Yeah. So. It's interesting. So yeah, I think going back to like what Sundance was talking about, as far as this weekend, I mean, maybe not the incentive, but in terms of the ability to play spoiler against the Pats. I mean, Pats always have a tough time playing down there in Miami, regardless of the situation. Do you see this team? What's the makeup of this team? Like, you may have a better idea than we do in terms of think they can rally and kind of try to go out, end the season on a win. You think the last game of the season, any team would want to go out on with a W, regardless of not making the playoffs.
There's a lot for a lot of people to prove down in Miami. It starts with the coaching staff, right? When they were on this losing streak at the halfway point, Brian Flores told his coaches, he said, listen, if we don't have a strong second half, we're all getting fired. And he kind of put that challenge out to them. They know they need to finish strong, where he can go into Stephen Ross's office at the end of the year and say, listen, we won 8 of our last 9 games. We just missed the playoffs. If this game goes our way with this bounce and that bounce and this bounce, we're in the playoffs, right?
Right.
Or if you give me Deshaun Watson, we're making
that
playoffs, which is a whole other story. But Tua has a ton to prove, right? He's heard the rumors. He's heard the whispers. He needs to go out with a bang. There's guys who want to come back. They're rookies. They're younger guys They still have a ton to prove. I don't expect this Dolphins team to lie down. I think they've kind of rallied together a little bit around Brian Flores. If I still thought that he was losing the locker room a little bit, something happened, something clicked there where he got them back on the same page. But if I thought he was losing the locker room, I think it could be a blowout. But I would expect a tough game from the Dolphins. I'd be shocked if they get blown out in this game.
So let's have some fun hypothetically, right? Let's say Brian Flores, takes a long swim off the Miami shore and just disappears into the Bermuda Triangle.
Jesus. Okay.
Who are you getting on the phone for an interview as head coach? And is Dan Quinn near the top of that list, or I think I want to go offensive?
I'm sorry for my blurry camera. I'm not sure what happened, but hopefully it readjusts there. There you go. Me personally, I like the route where you get a head coach who's done it before, right? I think so many teams try to go for this, and it works obviously sometimes. But I think the best leaders, the best people are people who have learned from their failures, right? Dan Quinn, I love the guy. I think what he did in Atlanta was phenomenal, and the lessons he can learn as a failure in Atlanta could help him in his next stop. We've seen what he's done to this Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
Just a turnaround there. I would also put at the top of my list Jim Harbaugh.
Those rumors are out there now. Yeah.
And Stephen Ross would too. Because
I have no doubt.
Harbaugh, which is why Jim Harbaugh's at Michigan, because Stephen Ross is Michigan's biggest booster. And
really, I didn't know that.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
The business school is named after Ross.
Oh, jeez. Oh, this is getting juicy, man.
So the business school is named after Ross. Ross is their biggest, basically, alumni there, and their biggest donor. Remember what Tony Sperano, late Tony Sperano, right? When Tony Sperano was still head coach of the Dolphins, he sent Jeff Ireland, the GM, out on a plane to meet with Harbaugh secretly to try to get him to come to Miami. And that got out, and then Harbaugh said, I'm not interviewing if you have a head coach still. And Ross, this is like Ross's second year as an owner. He had no idea what he was doing. Sperano finds out they have to give him an extension. They fire him a year later. Harbaugh goes, he was at Stanford. He goes and coaches the 49ers and gets to the Super Bowl and whatnot. But Ross then helps lure him to Michigan, right? And they had tremendous success this year. Obviously fell short of the national championship. But I think that would be a very interesting move. And Harbaugh, Miami's probably the only place where Harbaugh would get total control of the roster. There's rumors about him going to the Raiders or the Bears.
I was going to say the Bears are what one thing I was kind of keen on a little bit.
I don't think he would get total control.
Right.
Definitely not with Las Vegas. Maybe Chicago. Definitely Miami. If Harbaugh says to Ross, listen, I want to come to Miami, give me full control, I think it's going to be very, very hard for Ross to say no, right? But also you have to look at the angle of Harbaugh trying to get his money back from Michigan because he took a pay cut to stay with them. So this could be a move for him to get more money from them. But it's a very interesting dynamic because Ross has always had a thing for getting Harbaugh to Miami. And there was just never, that timing was never right between the head coaches. And this could be an opportunity.
It makes you wonder too if after the season that Michigan just had, if Harbaugh knows, maybe again, maybe that's why these rumors are out now, that quietly he knows if there's a time to sell yourself off this incredible season that Michigan just had, this is it. He kind of proved his naysayers wrong a little bit and all the detractors for Michigan, starts getting them to the playoff.
But also Doug Peterson. I like Doug Peterson a lot too.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So an established head coach, some type of established head coach.
If I was running the Dolphins, I would go with someone who's done it in the NFL.
But proven it in a good way, not just a name, someone who's actually won.
And the thing is to have some time off between being a head coach. So one thing I said about Adam Gase was I always thought he could be a good head coach. He needed to learn from his mistakes in Miami to get there. And I think he hurt himself by taking a head coaching job right after getting fired from Miami, because then he had no time to reflect on what he did wrong with Miami. Right. If he had taken a coordinator role or position, I think he could then work his way back up to a good spot. But he's done. I don't think he'll ever get a shot again in the NFL.
So, Nate, did you want to? We wanted to get real quick, Matt, your opinion just on Mac Jones. Just thoughts on Mac Jones from a rookie season perspective, given you have an interesting lens with the Tua stuff. So,
Mac Jones is interesting, right? I think I said it last time I was here. Like, he reminds me a lot of Tom Brady, right? With the way that Bill Belichick brought Brady along with a strong defense, and just low risk passing game and the checkdowns here and there, just moving the chains.
Right.
And as Brady got better, let him loose. And I feel like Mac Jones is that same kind of guy, right? And if it wasn't for Jamar Chase, I think Mac Jones would be right up there for the offensive rookie of the year, and still might be. And even when you look at Jones compared to Lawrence and Zach Wilson and Tua, I mean, he's better than all of them. And I go back to when, I don't know if you remember, last year during the national championship week, the media were asking guys like Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, who's the better Alabama QB, Tua or Mac Jones? And they all said Mac Jones, and Dolphins fans got so pissed off. So like, how can they say that about our quarterback Tua? Right?
Yes.
Tua on attack.
Tua.
Yeah. And then you see it in the NFL, and you're like, maybe they were right. Maybe they were onto something here, because he's just very systematic in what he does, right? It's not a whole lot of flair, not a whole lot of, fireworks, but he gets the job done. And I'm trying to even right now compare him to somebody of who's that guy in the NFL that's been successful, that just gets the job done.
Right.
And, besides the Peyton Manning, who just, got the first down, kept the chains moving, really smart, very intelligent. I just feel like he's almost an identical clone of Tom Brady when I look at Tom Brady's early career and Mac Jones now.
Right.
I think Mac Jones is going to be a great quarterback for a long time.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, really interesting thoughts there. I mean, you kind of had to wade through, this mud the first 4, 6, 7 weeks of the season, and everybody's, 1 week he looks like Tom Brady, the next week, well, I'm not so sure, and then he looks like Tom Brady again. But now to get to the end of the NFL season and really take that broad perspective and see some things that you just might be able to bank on. I would agree with you. The Patriots have taken a very deliberate approach with him. It looks like it's paying off. Very similar to, I remember Brady, that rookie season. I remember there were times that he would hold the ball too long and I would yell at the screen. But here I am, 20 years more mature, and you understand the guy's a rookie. Like the game is just a different speed to him. And you see Mac Jones do the same thing. If there's one thing he doesn't do well, he just holds the ball too long. And so that's something that you'll correct. That they'll work on that.
Rookie mistake, yeah.
They'll mature, and so you couldn't be happier as a Patriots fan. You really couldn't.
Patriots fans should be very, very excited about the future with Mac Jones.
I would say so. I think we are cautiously optimistic. All right, Matt, we're kind of running up against it. Before we let you go, we're gonna put you on a spot and give us a prediction for this weekend's game.
Patriots 27, Dolphins 17.
10-point win. All right. So I haven't even looked at the line, but I'm assuming that's a cover.
I don't know what the line is off the top of my head. I think it's Patriots. Last time I checked was 3.5.
Oh, okay. Dude, I would have guessed a little bigger just with Miami.
Yeah,
but anytime you're on the road game of the division, you're going to keep the line tighter.
Right.
All right,
Matt, one more on the spot. Give us your Super Bowl picks. We are hopeful to have you back on one more time before the big game, pending your busy schedule. But
sorry, -7 as of the 4th.
Oh, it is 7. Okay, so still a cover.
Super Bowl prediction. Ooh. If you asked me before the season started, I was saying Rams versus Bills. I will still say the Rams for the NFC.
Wow. Okay. Over Green Bay, huh?
Yeah.
I'd rather see the Rams there than Green Bay.
I think I would too. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. He has but okay.
Are you the one who's not voting for him?
Well, I don't know Aaron Rodgers personally, so
yeah, he doesn't know you personally either, so it works out.
For the AFC, this is a tough one. I really, really like the Titans if they get back Derrick Henry. He's going to be fresh. He's going to have really fresh legs, and they're going to run him.
Yeah,
it's hard to look at the Chiefs and not see them making it again, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Rams Titans. I'm going to will that into existence.
Rams,
love it.
Titans. All right. You want to call a winner, or are you going to leave it at that?
Rams.
Oh,
yeah. I don't love what the Rams did trying to build this like superstar team, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And just buying a Super Bowl, but you got to respect.
I'm admittedly a Matt Stafford
I think
have been since Georgia, so
underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I would love to see him win one.
All right, Matt. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We've got your information down the bottom, but run the ticker. But if you want, before you go, just if you want to plug the website, anything you got going on, especially rolling. I'm sure you guys have a lot going on these next couple of weeks with rolling to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So ProFootballNetwork.com. You can also find us on Twitter at PFN365. You see the rest on the bottom of the screen, and also on Twitch now. We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/ProFootballNetwork. 3 hours of live streaming every day, starting at 2:00 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, no, we appreciate you coming on. Like I said, like Sundance said, if we can try to get you on again sometime in the next few weeks, if there's time, we'd love to have you back on. But we'll reach out. We appreciate it.
All right,
man.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.
Matt. All right, man.
Take care.
Bye.
Wow. I was not expecting Rams Titans. That is, I'm not going to say that's out of left field, but I don't know if that's going to be a popular pick right now. But Matt brings up really good points. The Rams are certainly rolling, and Titans plus Derrick Henry healthy kind of looks like a pretty solid pick. I suppose.
And again, we'd love to have Dr. Gary back on. I'm curious from a medical standpoint, the effects of that injury with Henry's foot. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and move right into our next segment. We're trying something new this week. We're going to try a little what we call this or that. This or that. Basically, we're going to be posing a couple of different scenarios, a couple of different choices to the other host, and they simply have to make a choice between one or the other. Neither one may be desirable per se, but we're going to put it out there and see what the other one responds with. So I'm gonna lead off. I'm gonna give you my first one. And
sounds good.
Take a stab at it. All right.
And we went NFL themed.
NFL theme, right? Exactly.
There you go.
Roll to the playoffs. We're gonna keep it NFL theme, just to kind of keep it some continuity on the show right now. This or that, Sundance. All right. Number one. Hypothetically, offensive coordinator for the Patriots, Josh McDaniels, goes ahead and takes a head coaching job somewhere else. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's just say it were to happen. You have two choices as far as who would take over, who the Pats would hire to take over as the OC. You have this, Jason Garrett, or you have that, Adam Gase. Who do you choose?
This is actually an easy one. This is a great question. I love it. You definitely hit a home run on this one. Horrendous
I wanted
choices.
To keep it easy to start.
Horrendous choices on both sides. Here's what's interesting about this question, really quickly. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, was just referencing Adam Gase, talking about how it really he wasn't fair to himself, getting fired from Miami, taking no time off to learn from his mistakes, and jumping right into the Jets gig. And then I was talking with a friend in the office who is a Dallas Cowboys super fan from the late 70s. And he said, just Jason Garrett should never, coach again in the NFL. So I'm going to go Adam Gase. Gase has had some time.
Oh, really? You're going Gase?
Gase has had some time off, and I do not think highly of Jason Garrett. I think that guy got about 5 extra years more in Dallas than he should have. I don't know how he lasted as long as he did, other than being best friends with Jerry Jones. So I'm going to go Adam Gase. I love that question. That's a really good one.
Cool. All right. I like that answer. So hit me with number one. Let's go. I can't wait.
All right. Number one, this or that. Hypothetical scenario. Who would you rather have to share a lifeboat with as the Titanic is sinking?
Let me get my drink. Okay. How long am I on the boat for?
I think they were on the lifeboats for about 2 days before they were rescued. So, would you rather be stuck on a lifeboat with Bruce Arians or Antonio Brown? It's cold. It's early April. It's the
Atlantic. It's Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Because I feel like if it was Bruce Arians, I'd have to keep watching my back that he'd throw me over. I really think that. My gut says at any given turn he would be like, all right, and you just want the boat for himself, and he'd go off in the sunset.
Antonio Brown's got some very sensitive issues with his feet.
He does, but I feel like he'd help pass the time with a lot of good stories. So while I'm starving of hunger, I would at least be distracted by what he's throwing at me. So I'm Antonio Brown, definitely. Antonio Brown.
Right.
I don't think he tried to kill me. So I mean that's a low bar given the fact that I just survived the boat.
I love it. Okay, if I could throw the GIF up on the screen, of the oh damn with the kid going off the screen like this.
We may have to find that one.
Oh, okay, I love that. That's a good answer.
This or that. Number 2, Sundance. We're gonna move into more situational football here. Hypothetically, you are down late in the game. All right, you need a touchdown. We're talking like under a minute, whatever, and you're probably only midfield. Okay, you have 2 deep targets to choose from. You're throwing maybe not a Hail Mary, but since you're going deep downfield to try to get towards the end zone, you have 2 deep targets to choose from. Okay, you have this one, N'Keal Harry. Well, you have that one, which is going to be everyone's favorite socially awkward locust collecting nerd, affectionately portrayed by Corey Haim in the 1986 hit movie Lucas. Lucas, throw it to Lucas, Bly. Who do you choose? Who do you throw it to?
N'Keal Harry.
Do you really? So you're more on the coach, don't throw it to Bly. Cam.
N'Keal Harry's interesting. He's got that strange quality where he shows up every now and then, and it is very scattered, but he does show up every now and then, and I bet he still has a moment left in him in this Patriots season, including the playoffs. I bet you he's got something there.
He has to be active first, but
I understand that.
It could happen.
I won't be surprised if he's active over Christian Wilkerson for the Patriots playoff game.
I agree. Okay. No, so, just for his blocking ability, legitimately. Okay. I think we may be dismissing slightly Lucas's game-winning touchdown catch at the end of his movie.
But Charlie Sheen's character was far more physically superior and football talented. So Corey Haim just got
intangibles. But okay, fair enough. N'Keal Harry's got the size that you probably want in that situation. Fine. All right, fair enough. All right, what do you got? Number 2.
More situational football. It is 2 a.m. and it's time for a Taco Bell run. But you're going to be responsible about this, and you're going to have an Uber driver.
No OnlyFans models.
Is your Uber driver Bill Belichick or Tom Brady for a 2 a.m. Taco Bell run?
Oh, God. This is a no-win situation because Brady, there's no way Brady's going to let you go eat Taco Bell. But then Belichick is going to drive you to Subway. So I don't think that. Okay, this is tough. It's gonna be Brady because I think at least if I don't get the Taco Bell, the alternative is he has snacks or something else, if it's healthy, stashed in the car that I can lunch on before I get.
No one wants healthy snacks at 2 a.m.
It's better than eating nothing. I mean, because if I'm not getting there anyway, I got to eat something.
It's
going to be
avocado,
veggie straws
corn
and gum.
nuts and veggie straws. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry for you. Okay.
Well, pray tell, Goody Proctor, what do you think you're getting if Belichick would drive you? You think you're getting in that? So you think you're getting in that drive-through line with Bill Belichick? He's not waiting in that shit.
I've seen him throw the tablets. To your point,
can you imagine him at the drive-through window trying to place an order? No one can understand him. He's not.
Hey, listen, I want to avoid the awkward silence as much as possible. And
the glare through the rear view window, the rear view mirror that he's going to be staring at you to make sure you're not playing with anything in the back.
He's going to be frustrated that you're making him do this 2 a.m. Taco Bell run. So good choice. I'm with you. You've brought me to the light.
All right. So that's going to bring us to number 3. You can still hear me, correct?
Yes.
Fantastic. More technical difficulties on the Major J side. All right, so number 3, this and that. We're going to go back to coaching here. This one's going to be pretty straightforward, probably pretty easy for you, but I'm still curious your response regardless. You've got 2 choices for a given game in terms of from a head coaching perspective. You either have Matt Nagy calling your entire offensive game plan and all the offensive plays for an entire game, which we've seen has gone swimmingly well for the Bears this season. That's this. Or that, just for a 4-minute drill at the end of a game when you're down, Mike McCarthy calling that for you. Which do you choose? You got a whole game of Nagy or a 4-minute drill from Mike McCarthy down a touchdown?
A whole game of Nagy. I just cannot entrust my life to Mike McCarthy. He just can't manage timeouts, quick decision making, think on your feet. What's the one play that you want at the end of the game? I don't trust the guy. Again, I just had this conversation today with Superfan for Dallas Cowboys, and it was the same thing. It was, this is going to rear its head in the playoffs, and it is going to be their downfall. So I'm going to go Matt Nagy.
All right. I mean, that's where I thought you were going, but I had to ask nonetheless, just to say. All right, hit me with your last one. I can't wait for it.
Final, this or that. If you are Alex Guerrero and your life depends on it, who would you rather have to try to keep healthy for a full season? Jimmy Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield? I thought I might stump you on this one. I thought so.
Jimmy G. It's Jimmy G.
You're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo healthy
for a season.
17 games. Not even 16, 17.
Yeah, I feel like Garoppolo's issues are more extremity related. I feel like it'd be easier to manage him than Baker, who's just feels like he's constantly has major things wrong with him. I think plus he's a smaller guy.
Yes.
Not to say he's slight or what have you, but he's a smaller guy. Jimmy's has a bigger frame, he's a bigger guy. I feel like given the
Jimmy's
way these guys hit,
to work with.
Yeah, I'm going Jimmy, and I'm going to fail miserably, but that's where I'm going. I'll sync with that ship. That's fine. Like the Titanic earlier that I had to get a lifeboat for. All right, fantastic. This or that. That was actually pretty fun. Good time, Sundance. All right, so that's going to take us. I think we're going to go. Let's do an update on our Padres picks because we're going into the last week of the season, and things are getting kind of dicey right now for us. So I'm actually going to bring up. Let's go ahead and just bring up last week's. All right, so let me move this out of the way for a second. So last week, good week for both of us.
Better week
for me. 10-5-1, 9-6-1. So that puts me 4 games up going into the final week of the season. I mean, I feel pretty good, but anything could happen. Anything could happen. I will say and I'll put this on record right now on the show. We'll do picks in time for Saturday's games. To be fair, just so I can't play defense, I will post my whole list of picks first and allow you, because I'm sure you're going to want to go. You're going to by default you're going to go and alternate picks. To try to take a shot out of it. Yep, exactly. So to be fair, to give you that shot, I will post my entire lineup first. Give you the nod. You can throw yours up to at least take a shot at it. And we'll see what happens. Then we'll check back in next week and talk about who wears the crown and who is going to be spending all kinds of gas and mileage delivering microbrews once a month through the summer.
Love it.
All right. That's all right. So that's our weekly Padres picks update. And we're gonna move right into our 3 and Out segment where we just kind of give some hot takes to kind of wrap up the show. We're going to do 3 total. We're not going to do 3 each. We're going to do 3 total, fire them off. Although we've got a little bit of time. We can expound them a little bit, but we figured it'd be better to work out this way. So I'm going to go 3 and Out, first down. You can lead off. What's your first one here you want to just throw out there and hit us with?
Cut me some slack. I came up with these prior to tonight's Celtics game. So the first 3 and Out was the Celtics may be back.
Hot take. Sizzling. You hear that? That's like oil and griddle and sizzle on the stove right now.
So I'm going to stand by it. I am going to say that although the Celtics have dropped 2 really crushing losses.
I'll let you change it now if you want on the fly. Okay.
Nope. 2 crushing losses coming off of 2 nice wins. I'm going to say that they are back because I like the accountability that Jaylen Brown is bringing to the team. And I like the quiet production that Tatum is bringing as well. And we have a healthy Robert Williams. I look for the Celtics to really fire off a strong, I'm going to call it 4-week run.
Shall I retort? I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen.
That's
it. But I applaud the effort, and I hope you're right. I'd love to be wrong about that.
Second down. That's fine.
Second down. All right. I'm going right outside all of this here, and this is a hot take, and you can hit me with it. I understand anyone front of the show. Al Dufour, I'm sure, is not going to be happy about this. Plenty of other beer aficionados are not going to be happy about this. I'm going to be honest. Second down, 90 to me at least, 90%, give or take, of IPAs taste the same. 90% of IPAs, give or basically taste the same to me. And maybe it's my palate is just not diverse enough. I don't know. But I mean, don't get me wrong, this Julius, fantastic. But if you ask me the difference between that and any of the 4 or 5 beers I've had on this show previously, I throw my hands up, kind of. I couldn't tell you much the difference, except for the Whittle Fire. I mean, that's in the 10%. I will always, although it's not an IPA, so it doesn't really matter. But you get the point.
Okay, third down.
No retort.
So listen, my retort is I would agree with that response. Listen, fantastic. I actually, I cracked open this OJ IPA, again, OJ from Lone Pine Brewing out of Maine, Portland, Maine. Good. And, it hit me with a good juice bomb aroma, took a couple sips. I have to agree with you. Most IPAs do taste the same, which is why I branch off a little bit and I'll get a porter here and there. I will move.
What's that cracker one you always keep having? The nutter cracker?
The
fluffer nutter?
Cluster nutter.
That's
from Alvarium Brewery here in town. It is fantastic. So listen, I'm with you. At times the IPA start to taste a little bit too much the same. I like to break off and start to move on to wine a little bit. get away from beer, because when you come back to it, a month later, 2 months later, it hits you again, and you're just like, oh, that's a really good IPA. So I'm with you though. If you're drinking them pretty regularly, every weekend, you're cracking 1 or 2 open. I get it. They do start to taste the same pretty quickly. Although there's some awful dank ones out there that I just will never go back to.
There really are. All right, Sundance, third down. Let's cap this baby off.
Third down. Listen, NBA rules are an absolute joke. They are an absolute joke. I love protecting players from injury. Right. I love the fast pace of today's game. I love the fact that we are jacking up 87 3-point shots a game. I love all of that. Mm-hmm. But when you jump to block someone's shot and land, and then the shooter lands standing next to you and there's no contact, and you're called for a flagrant foul because, you might have taken out his legs if you weren't really careful there. And we don't ever want that to happen. No. It's now a flagrant one. It's insane. The rules are insane. There's no traveling in the NBA. Now,
the intent was there to block the shot, so therefore you intended to flagrantly foul him.
Yeah, it's
that math doesn't quite add up. But
that doesn't add up at all. Right. Guys are getting absolutely brutalized driving the lane, and there's never an and one. I mean, and ones just don't exist anymore. And traveling is a thing of the past.
The Euro step.
The Euro step is more like the solar system step at this point. Right. I mean, you can take 5 extras.
Even Kevin McHale looks at the Euro, it's just like he can't believe it. Yeah.
NBA rules are just an absolute joke, and something does have to be done there. Because it's just getting way out of hand. And that's it.
All right. I can't disagree with any of that. All right. That pretty much that tells the story right there. So before we go, we do just want to throw a shout out to everyone who continues to support us and the show. We appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do for us. Shout out to our boys quickly, to Tommy Paradise and DJ over the Run In podcast. Have been big supporters of ours from day one. They've got an awesome show covering the worlds of wrestling and collectible figures. Make sure you go check them out, the Run In podcast. Reminder again, if you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, turn notifications on so you never miss a show. Audio is also available on most of the main podcast providers, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, etc. If you're listening, please subscribe, rate, and review. Make sure you're following us on social as well. Number 2, Padres Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and even TikTok. For now, there have not been, no dancing videos have been posted as of yet, but keep an eye out. You may see those in the near future, Sundance. Dos Padres Podcast on Facebook as well. That's pretty much, that pretty much wraps it up. Again, it's all part of our World Takeover. We just want you to join us for the ride. We are back next week with a special NFL playoff preview show that we're looking forward to. We'll be talking about the Pats. But as well, we're going to be covering the other games throughout the AFC and NFC as well, the entire schedule. We're going to make some predictions, have some other fun with it, and kind of go from there. So, next week, NFL playoff preview show. Make sure you check back and check it out. But that's Sundance Kid. I'm Major J. We're the Dos Padres. Hasta tus sueños. What are we, Sundance? We're out. Catch you next week.